This episode is dedicated to Matt, otherwise known as Xbox Addict, who sadly passed away this week.
Hey everybody, it's Malik here, and I am someone who works at Xbox with way too many jobs to list, and you're listening to the Party Chat Podcast.
Xbox on.
Game on, baby! Wow!
Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep.
Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to the Party Chat Podcast, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit. I'm your host, the Podfather, Ross Miller, and this week I'm joined by everyone's favourite uncle. It's Uncle Jesse.
Hey now.
And the Lord and MV Cheese, it's Rhys.
Just your lord now. I'm not the Lord and Savoury Snack, I'm just your lord.
Yeah, well, it's getting too long.
You're right.
And a girl that sometimes dresses up as cosplay characters and is a terrible at introductions. It's Carina.
I'm just awful.
But you've got a really nice hat.
That?
A nice hat?
Yeah, it's the hat in your picture.
Which hat? Oh, hat. I had to be like, which hat? Because I know I never wear hats. Yeah, I got a nice hat. That's all you need. Who needs introductions when you have good hats?
That's not true.
No,
but anyway, we, in a week where we literally have no news to talk about, but we do have an amazing interview later on with Malik Prince, who is the project manager of the MVP program and lots of other jobs. But we have an interview with him later on coming up. So you will have that to look forward to. But we traditionally get this podcast started with what we have been playing. And in the tradition of ladies first, I'm going to go with you, Carina.
Oh, I've been playing all sorts. So I attended EGX Reds down in London on Saturday.
Did you meet Agostino?
I did. Yeah, I did. I had a good chat with him one night and showed me all the idea Xbox games. Got a photo. I got a balloon that I still have. I'm trying to keep it as long as possible. I don't really know how long it'll last.
Is it a helium balloon?
Yeah, I was really tempted to kind of.
No, you've got to do this. After the interview, you're going to do the outro, and it's going to be you swallowing the helium. That's the only way we're doing it.
Yeah.
Just to say, do not try that at home, but that's what's happening.
This is it, yeah. Professionalism. But no, and I got a free little idea Xbox hat, which just. Speaking of hats, I've got a cool idea Xbox ones. See, they link. But yeah, no, I tried quite a variety of games. One of my favourite ones, though, I'm going to bring up is called Jump Gunners. So basically, it's this like little platform game, local co-op. Although we're somehow trying to work it out if we can with mixers. Going back to what we mentioned last week, how mixers including the controller now, so a second person can control your game. We're going to try and sort of make this a few of us are going to try out this local co-op game, but try it via Mixer and see if we can kind of make it multiplayer. Don't know if it'll work, but we'll try it out. But basically with Jump Gunners, you literally just have to kill your opponent, but it's just with one shot. So you're like this tiny little avatar, and you're just jumping around, and you're just trying to blow each other up, and it's just pretty funny just to do, because you're just running around grabbing grenades, burning people, trying to knock them off, and there's different modes, capture the flag, and it's just one of the funny games. Like every level's probably each game probably lasts like a minute. Round, sorry. Probably lasts like a minute, not even that, probably about 30 seconds. But no, it was just funny to play. Absolutely funny to play.
Sounds a bit like Black and White Bushido, but with guns.
I've not played that.
Ross, right?
It does sound a bit like that. So is it arena-based?
Kind of. Yeah. I suppose
is it 3D, 2D?
2D.
2D? Sounds like IDAB.
Almost,
but with guns.
Or IDAB.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm going to look this up.
It's one of those that it's just like such a quirky little game, and it's just funny because you just want to just kill the other person. And they explode into tiny pixels, which is always satisfying. But But no, the best bit about it was I was speaking to Ego. Hey Ego, if you're listening. But we were discussing it, and the developer apparently was just it's just one developer, which I thought was really cool. That I thought it was a team. Turns out it was just one guy on his own, and he basically just dropped absolutely everything, which kind of goes a little bit into the interview later on. But this guy just basically took a risk, dropped absolutely everything that he did, and just went, you know what, I want to make a game. That was that was his dream, and that's what he went and did. And no, I definitely give it a go. I think it's one you can either just play very quickly if you want a quick game with your friends, but I definitely advise playing with others. I mean, you can play it single player with an AI, but it's just so much funnier with friends. What else did I play? Oh, I tried out Gang Beasts. I love Gang Beasts. It's so good.
It's the best. I can't wait for that to come to Xbox. Did they have a release date yet?
We tried to get one out of them, but they were just like, we don't know. And we're like, yes, you do know. Please give us a release date. But no, unfortunately, we didn't manage to get. We did ask quite a few people, but we didn't manage to get any information on that, unfortunately. But I'm buying that as soon as that comes out on Xbox. Cannot wait whatsoever. It's just such a good game, isn't it? Right. There's nothing satisfying than just chucking your friend off the edge of
I think we're gonna have
anything
to make
it is.
Like, we're going to have to make it a game of the week, I think, just selfishly. I don't think anyone... No objections, right?
No, I'm fine with that.
Here.
I'm fine with that. We need to definitely all four of us just go against each other and see who wins. See who's the ultimate gang beast.
So, I'm going to win that. You said you went to EGX Res.
Yeah.
Overall, EGX Res, is it a worthwhile trip? There's indie shows all around the world. Is it something you would recommend going to?
I would. I think it's a 4-day event. Now, I only went for a day. You could easily do it in 2. I wouldn't say you wouldn't really need to go all 4 days unless you wanted to try every single game. But like I say, there's so many indie games I played, and there's a variety of things. It's good for networking. It's good for all sorts of genres, developers. I definitely advise actually, because I was kind of. I don't know, I kind of never looked towards it. Now, I know we've mentioned before, a few of us go to EGX in the NEC in September, and that's a massive convention, and that is like the big one. Obviously, Res is like a tiny, it's quite small in comparison, but if you're a big indie lover, even if you're not, I'd still go and give it a go. But like I say, you just need the weekend. I don't think you need all 4 days. I went on a Saturday. It was quite busy, but it wasn't overly crowded, which sometimes can be an issue in conventions. And the location's really nice because everything's based in individual rooms rather than one big open plan space, which you'd think would be a bit odd, but actually it made it quite nicer. Nicer to just kind of present, a bit more presentable more than anything. So yeah, if anyone is around, I'd definitely give Res to go. But yeah, you only need to go, I'd probably say at the moment, I'm guessing it's just going to keep expanding. This is the first time I've been. But yeah, you could probably just go for the weekend.
You've really got to see Gamescom one day, Karina. Like, it's
I do.
The largest
That's
in the world.
Like that's my next goal.
Like EGX is like what, 10,000 people, maybe?
Jeez, I don't even know. I think it was 50,000 last time.
Oh well, yeah. Either way, Gamescom is like 380,000 people,
Good
and it's
Lord.
just that you say, oh, it's a bit crowded. You ain't seen nothing.
Oh no, I've heard Gamescom is
the
just
hallways
mental with people.
Because Gamescom is set in like these big halls, and there's these indoor hallways that connect them all, and it's when there's like people everywhere cosplaying with giant wings, and it's insane. But we'll have to do a Gamescom one day. That'll be
actually that's what I need to figure out. How do you transport cosplay effectively? If anyone knows, seriously, if anyone knows, please let me know.
You have to assemble it there.
Yeah, but
you have to transport it in pieces.
You don't travel in it, Karina. Like, you don't have to get on a plane.
Oh wait, I have done that as well.
Right,
But,
Clay, what about you?
Yeah, I have been playing a bunch of different stuff. I was playing Adventure Pals again. I beat that game. And then I have done everything in my ability to 100% that achievements list for that game, and there is one achievement that is glitched that will not pop for me.
Which one?
It's the one to copter for...
Oh my god, I've been trying that since the
5
beginning
minutes.
of the game.
Yep. It will not go. And then I finally found on some random forum, I think a developer posted something that says, yep, we're aware of the issue and we're working with Microsoft to try and get this resolved. So...
You mean I've been wasting my time this whole way through?
Oh yeah. I easily sat there for like 15 minutes. Jump, hover, jump, hover.
Oh
yeah. I was as well. I was as well. That game, I had a lot of fun with that game though. I ended up having a lot of fun with it. Definitely a nice fun game to check out. Again, I think like we said last week, the visual is really cool. You know what really surprised me, man, was Dangun Feveron.
You got into it.
Holy crap! I'm surprised I have not had I haven't had a seizure or something. From
I warned you.
But it's pretty dang fun. I finally switched over from the normal mode to fever mode. I remember you mentioning that, and I was like,
told you to do it last week.
I've got to find fever mode. Where did I find? I was like, I found the menu. Going to this. I was like, oh, this is fun. So I played nothing but fever mode over the weekend for, I don't know, a few hours, and it was just an absolute blast. The other one that I'm about ready to throw my controller against the wall that I started playing was 10 Second Ninja. Yeah. That is not for me. That game is driving me absolutely mad. I can't express how frustrated I can get. I rarely get very frustrated with games. So no, it's like die, reset, no, reset, no, reset, no. It's like the most fast-paced, twitchy gameplay that I've ever done. The other one that I'm really getting into that I'm not too far in is a game that I think was a Games with Gold title a few years back, was the Swapper. I heard somebody talking about that on the subreddit over the weekend, and they were saying how much they enjoyed the game. And it's really good. It's a really cool little puzzler where you basically clone yourself, and I think must have killed about 1,000 of my clones by now.
Just like real life.
Mass murdering myself over and over again, dropping them off ledges.
Apparently, this game has a pretty like heavy ending. So be careful
really?
With all the killing.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll go a little bit easy on the. I was screwing around last night. I was like, I wonder if I could spawn a guy, teleport into him, spawn a guy, teleport into him, spawn a guy, teleport into him. Yeah. It was like dead, bodies piling up on the ground. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun time. Fun time.
Piling bodies, fun for the whole family.
Yeah. I mean, that's about it for me. I mean, other than, of course, I've been playing some PUBG and playing the last 2 nights with my buddies, and have been playing like absolute garbage. We can usually get at least 1 or 2 chicken dinners every time we get on, but man, I've been playing just like absolute garbage. I think we dropped, it must have been 10 or 12 times right in a row in a very short period of time, where it was like land, die, immediately. It was just immediate getting shot in the face with shotguns and micro Uzis over and over again. Ross, what have you been doing?
Well, as people may notice, I missed last week's podcast because I wasn't very well. And to be honest, I didn't really have the energy to be playing games. I've played very, very little up until about Friday, when I started feeling a little bit better. But I basically, my son has been bugging me about getting into streaming, and he's too young. He's not allowed to go on himself. So the two of us have been streaming some Fortnite. And yeah, nice. And all I want to say is, kids of today, you need to get outside more.
What?
You need to get out because
get off my lawn.
He's too good.
Oh, he's too good.
Oh, actually, no, I can confirm he is.
So he has played with Carina. He has played with Carina. And the first few times he played, he was hiding, he wasn't getting weapons, he was just learning the game. But now he's at a 6th finish, he's at a 4th finish, he's at a, quite a few in his teams. He's learned the building of it.
Imagine how you'd feel if you'd known that, how old is he?
7,
like 7?
yeah.
If a 7-year-old whooped you at Fortnite,
So yeah, I was watching him and playing some Fortnite with him, which was a lot of fun. Other than that, I started playing Batman Season 2, which I have mentioned, and it is an utterly fantastic game, but I want to finish it before I give my full opinion on Telltale's Batman Season 2. So we'll probably do that in a couple of weeks, I think, after episode 100 next week. Rhys, what about you?
Did that ever go on sale?
Yeah, it was on sale. That's when I picked it up. The both were on sale in the last sale. I think it was like £15, so $20 for the second season. I think it's usually 30.
I meant to get the first one. I heard it was a really
brilliant.
Good.
Is take everything you know about DC, and Clay, I know you know a lot about DC, and tear it up. They've went their own storyline.
Yep, that's what I was interested in.
And I love it.
I'm excited about that.
And you expect, when you see a character, you expect them to react a certain way. And although there is similarities to characters like the Joker and everyone else, they're different. They are totally turn out different to what you expect. And that, to me, a reimagining of the Batman and the Gotham universe is a fantastic way to do a story-driven game. I'm excited to finish Season 2. I absolutely love Season 1, and I honestly think out of everything Telltale's done since The Walking Dead, I think this is easily the best work.
Tales from the
I know.
Borderlands,
I've still not done that, to be fair, so I can't pass judgment.
That's going to be one of the funniest games ever made. But so this week I've been playing some Adventure Time as well, Adventure Pals. The similarity is not unintentional. I haven't finished it yet. We just got up to the third island. Good game. After you mentioned it last week, Clay, I actually tried out this game, Late Shift, because you're saying that it was weird.
Oh yeah, did you play it?
Yeah, I played through it once. I opened it up just to see, right? And then I ended up sitting there through the entire thing. Like I was riveted. It's got really high production values. It's like watching like a Netflix original.
It does. It's really crappy acting, but
like Netflix originals.
Yeah, like Netflix originals. Yeah, and like for example, it's really cool because the game doesn't pause. Like you know how in Telltale games, when you have to make a decision, normally everyone sort of stands there awkwardly for a moment. For the most part, sometimes they don't. But in this, the movie doesn't actually stop. So like. You have to decide quickly, and it just rolls, like the movie keeps playing smooth as butter, and it's like you kind of wonder, did I actually change anything? Because you don't feel any transition with this sort of live action.
Right. Okay.
But I only played through it once, and I thought that was enough. I definitely didn't want to sit through the whole thing again, but
I was going to say you should, because I went and did the second time. I tried to remember what the answers were that I gave the first go around, and I basically did the opposite of every one. And a few of the scenarios, it didn't seem like anything, it didn't matter. The outcome was the same. But I think my second half of the game, of my second playthrough, was completely different. Like, completely different, in a different location, different characters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And one of the characters didn't make it out alive in the end, and that was there sort of all the way through my first playthrough. So it was very, very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is actually interesting. Yeah. So if anyone's got Game Pass and like a spare how long's the movie for? Like 45 minutes? Half an hour?
I think it's only like it's longer than half an hour. I think it's probably an hour. I think an hour at most is.
Yeah, but it's worth checking out if you got a spare hour. You won't be bored at the very least. It's a fairly generic story, but it's entertaining and
it's on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, then
it's free.
It's free.
Yeah. Ish. Yeah. And I also played a lot of RoboCraft Infinity. Did you guys see the Party Chatternator?
I did.
Oh, I still need to download
it. I've been working on it. If any of you guys out there listening, download the Party Chatternator and like make upgrades to it. Make sure that you let me know so we can continue like the Mark II, Mark III editions. I absolutely got wrecked while playing with that thing.
So just to explain, Rhys has made the Party Chat logo that was hand constructed for free by Bob Duck and Weave, a friend of ours, right? Our Party Chat logo. And he went and made what his idea or something similar to the Party Chat logo.
It's an interpretation. Don't mess with art.
It's artistic, I will give you that. Is it a logo? I'm not sure.
I am disclaimer. I am not good at pixel art, but it's kind of the logo. I mean, if you make a better one.
Okay.
The plans are there, you know. So please improve upon the Party Chatternator. Make it the best robot it can be. That game is surprisingly fun, and some of the robots that you see are just hilarious. I almost keep playing just to see who I'm going to be up against next match. Because you never see the same robots twice. And even if you just see like a similar robot, someone has made, like there's like 4 or 5 default robots. Everybody has made some sort of modification to them. Whether they've added like 50 more guns or replaced the wheels of the race car with like mech legs or whatever. Like you never ever see the same robot twice. I saw a flying UPS box the other night, and I saw a TARDIS. I saw a flying penis called the Johnson. Like you see the craziest stuff, and it's funny. It's actually, and the game is pretty fun too. I mean, it's really basic, and your teammates tend to suck, but it is really fun.
Oh yeah, I think you ever try doing a battle arena when you're not playing with someone. It is so annoying. I think it's because everyone is kids. But yeah, that's true.
Except the adults making penises. But yeah, it's fun. And what else did I play? Obviously, the game of the week. And I went back and finished Numa Breath of Life.
Oh, yeah, that's a good game.
Because I wanted to play through it's kind of like on my to finish list, and I had some spare time.
I saw that. I saw that as well. That you finished that. You son of a bitch.
You're stalking my achievements, boy. Hey, that game is not easy. Okay, so it's like it's not free achievements. It takes some brain power. I suppose you could use a guide.
It was Games of Gold nearly 2 years ago, I think, or was it the beginning of last year? I played through it when it first became Games of Gold, and that is a good puzzle game with similarities to the right now, The Witness. I suppose The Witness is a little bit more involved, but yeah.
See, that's actually why I downloaded it, Ross, because I've been playing The Witness and I was really unsatisfied. I mentioned it before. I was like, I need a good puzzle game. And then I thought, I've played like the first 3 chapters of Numa and really liked it and then sort of stopped. I think it's time to finish. And I just sat there and played through the rest of it in a single setting. It was great.
Well, and
highly recommend.
You mentioned it there about the indie game of the week, so I think that's a very, very good point to move on to that. So, Rhys, would you like to introduce this week's indie game of the week?
This week's game of the week is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and it has been out for a while now. I think it came out a year ago on the PS4 and PC, and it's finally made its way to the Xbox One, and it is also the best console version of the game because it is enhanced for the Xbox One X. We got 4K, we've got enhanced graphics mode, and we've got FPS mode as well. And it is a really, really, really awesome game. For those who don't know about it, it is basically a third-person sort of hack and slash game, a little bit like, I don't know, Dark Souls or The Witcher, but also not. It's also quite a bit of a puzzle game, dare I say it, walking simulator, but the main genre is like out and out. The main genre is psychological horror. And it doesn't look like it if you look at the pictures, like the marketing, but believe me, this game is frightening, and I think it's actually one of the best psychological horror games ever made. Because it explores psychological horror in a really different way. It's not really a spoiler because it's basically all anyone's been talking about, but the main character, Senua, has schizophrenia and psychosis, and she hears voices. I was sitting next to someone who, a woman, and she gets migraines, like a lot of women and a lot of men as well do. And there was one particular place where you go into the land of illusion, and stuff starts happening on the screen, and she was just blown away. She said to me, "This is what a migraine looks like." Like, she's like, "This is exactly what I see when I have a migraine." She couldn't believe how accurate it was. And yeah, so the voices, they whisper to you, they lie to you, they tell you can't make it and you're horrible, they argue with each other. In fact, at one point, they tell you to do something, and I followed their instructions and they laughed at me. So it's like, it's a really cool game. Who else here played it?
Well, I haven't played it, but I just want to step in here. It was EGX Res that Carina attended, and immediately before that was the BAFTA Awards for Video Games, which is the British Association for the Arts. And this game actually won 5 BAFTAs, which is
that's incredible,
unheard of. Just to put, how good this has been critically and received by the PlayStation and Xbox community. This game is blowing everything out the water at the moment. So.
The story is, like I said, the story is probably, in my opinion, one of the best psychological horror tales ever told. And it's an accurate and interesting representation of Nordic, like, mythology. So, repping my peeps up here in the north. It's one of the most beautiful games I have ever seen. Like, the graphics are stunning. And the sound design, it's just, wow. Like, play this game with headphones, but I caution you, it might actually make you feel sick if you play it with headphones.
That's selling it.
It's a weird experience, that's for sure, because you're playing it and you're used to, you might have played other games where there's like an inner monologue that's kind of guiding you along the way. Of maybe you should go here or do this or something to try and help you. This game's kind of doing the opposite of that.
Yeah. And like I said, they laughed
freaks you out a little bit. Yeah.
And they because of the way that they recorded the sound, you don't need surround sound headphones to get a good experience. It's actually like a special way of recording. But basically, the voices come from all around you, and they're all different. Like her voices have different accents, different tones of voice. They say different things, and it's just crazy.
So, Clay, I know
the combat's in it is pretty good. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Clay, I know you've been playing it as well. What do you think about the combat?
Hey,
perfect.
It is a Ninja Theory game. These guys have experience.
Yeah. So, it's pretty solid. I'm comboing the hell out of everything I can. It's I honestly went into it not really knowing anything really about the game. I thought it was going to be one of these that I'm more of the puzzle aspect, not really a lot of combat in it, and there's surprisingly a good amount of combat in it, and it's tough. It can be really tough. Oh. And the interesting dynamic about it is, I haven't really have it happened yet, is the more you die, the more you're it's something weird, like your character
what happens
progresses.
What happens is the game at the beginning, you die. You get into a battle that you cannot win. Slight spoiler, but it happens right at the beginning, and you die. And you get like this really freaky cutscene that's amazing, but then the game actually sort of breaks. This is the only time that the game actually ever has a HUD, normally the game just begins. There's no HUD, there's no nothing, you just go. But at this one point, text appears on screen. And it's Senua has this curse, and it's like her hand is like covered in these black tendrils. And it says, every time you die, the tendrils will grow up your arm. And that's true. I've died a couple of times, and I've got the tendrils up to about my elbow now. And it says, if the tendrils reach Senua's head, then the game will delete your save file. Oh. Like you're dead for good, your save file is deleted, and you have to begin again. It warns you right at the beginning.
Wow, insta-death.
Yeah.
So have you tested it?
Yeah, well, no.
Like on a separate, save file.
Well, no, why would I do that? I want to play the game, but it's really cool. And it's every time you die, you're like, no! And like this little cutscene of the tendrils getting a little bit longer, and it's just like, oh, come on, guys, what are you doing to me? But the combat is good. Like, it's simple, but it feels good, and it's really responsive, like really skill-based. I've never once felt cheap. And one thing I really like is that in a lot of games, like say, I don't know, Bayonetta, the character's a woman and she's like, uppercutting dudes up into the sky and juggling them with her feet or whatever. But in this game, you're actually like a thin, small woman with like a thin, short sword, and you're really quick. And all the dudes are like these hulking Viking sort of man beasts who are like really, really slow, but they hit like a truck. So you have to, it feels realistic. You know what I'm trying to say here, right, Clay?
Like, yeah, Dark Souls sort of stuff.
You have to dodge and parry. And it's sort of Dark Souls-ish.
It's way faster than Dark Souls, though.
It is. It definitely is. And I found myself running into fights now.
Oh, yeah, it's
get
great.
The drop on guys.
I love running at the guys with a shield and like coming in with like a flying kick. Just like there's these guys with shields, right? And shields are pretty OP. There's a reason Vikings and other warriors use shields, because you can't hit them. And so if you're facing up against a guy with a shield, he can just stand there and be like, what? You can't do anything. And so you really have to like knock him back and try and create an opening. So the combat, it's really complex and it's fun. And it's also a little bit claustrophobic because the camera's in really close. So you can't see what's behind you or what's to your left-hand side. And the voices in your head, they'll lie to you. Like they'll tell you, look out behind you, and there'll be nothing. Or they'll actually give you a proper warning. You can't trust them. And when there's more than like 1-on-1 is easy, 2-on-1 is hard, but when there's more than 2, it gets really hard. If it's like 3 or 4-on-1, you're really stressed about surviving.
Okay. I haven't had a chance to play it. I know Carina hasn't as well, but I cannot wait until I've got some time off work. I want to sit down. I want to get into this game. Everything that you've just described sounds so good.
Oh man,
it does.
Lights off, headphones on, you're going to love it. And if anyone is a fan, or at least slightly interested in Nordic folklore, there's these hidden collectibles everywhere that actually are legit and will tell you, basically it's like a crash course in Nordic mythology, telling you all about the, Odin and the other gods and all these other crazy stories from Nordic folklore. It's really cool.
Now, all of the listeners of the podcast and the Redditors do have an opportunity to win a copy of this game. All you have to do is follow us on Twitter at PartyChatPod and look for the free Code Friday tweet that we will send out, of course, on Friday. Retweet that and you have an opportunity to get yourself a copy of this game. And from what I hear, you're not going to be disappointed. But I think this would be a good point to move on to the interview. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, why not?
Well, here it is.
Xbox Snap This Week's Interview.
All right, everybody, welcome to this week's interview for episode 99. We have a very cool guest. We have Malik Prince, who is the project manager of the MVP program at Microsoft, as well as the VODCOM lead for the Ambassadors program, host of the Community Minute on Last Week on Xbox, and also somehow the co-host of the show Tips and Tricks on Mixer. And maybe even more. Malik, welcome to the podcast.
Ooh, all right. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm a little nervous, but that was great. You read that right off my Twitter, right?
Absolutely. And your LinkedIn. I have done my research, boy.
Oh, my God. I just updated that. So, yeah, you're on it.
If you see like creepy me stalking you on social media, that's why. But it's great to have you here. So why don't you just tell us, a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do at Microsoft, other than what I just said, obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, you covered it, most of it, but I would say I'm kind of the community guy here at Xbox. Well, let me not say that. I'm a guy who's completely focused on community. So background. I was 10 years old when the original Xbox came out. And so sometimes I don't like telling people that because they say I'm trying to make them feel old. Because depending on when you were born, you were either older or younger.
That hurts, man.
Yeah. But, I mean, and I always tell this story, but we were moving at the time, my family, and my dad was like, I'm not going to get you an Xbox. And so I beat him into submission. I was like, get me an Xbox. And he was like, I'm either going to get you an Xbox or a bed. And I was like, well, you're my dad. You have to buy me a bed. So I'm just going to say Xbox. And eventually he did get me both. So I win. And sorry, Dad. But no, but like what I'll say is that, gaming is one of those things where you're connected to it. Like it informs, like it teaches you a lot of things about the world, and especially some of the games that delve into story more. And so I grew up just loving video games, and I love being in the community. And so when I got here at Xbox, I started on the Tweet Fleet, which is Xbox support on Twitter. Shout out to those guys. I love them. And I know you guys have had the forums agents on as well before. And so I started there, and then the whole time that I was on the Tweet Fleet, I was always suggesting ways for us to be more involved with the community. And so then I got the opportunity to join the Xbox Ambassadors program and that team and work on video on demand. And basically that revolves around, finding some awesome videos that, the gamers are making, and then resurfacing them and sending them out to the grander Xbox audience. Because I think we have some pretty good official support videos, but I think there's nothing like, a gamer helping out a gamer. You guys understand that from being on Reddit. And then the MVP program kind of landed in my lap. And it was something that I was really scared about because I already had the ambassador stuff on my plate. But it's just a group of awesome gamers who, have specific areas of interest or run communities like this one on Reddit. And they're just all around awesome guys and gals. And so, and then the Community Minute I do, which is not a partnership, but I was granted the opportunity to kind of showcase the community in This Week on Xbox, which is great. And then Tips and Tricks is a show that I do on Mixer with my awesome co-host Ethan Rothamel. It's one of the most fun parts of my week every week. So I have a lot going on, but I do it all in the name of community because I truly believe that, the gaming community is like the most passionate community in almost any form of entertainment. So yeah, that was a lot. Sorry, but that's a lot.
That's super
what I do.
Crazy impressive. You're basically like the Ryan Seacrest of Xbox.
Thank you.
You're everywhere.
Thank you. Yeah. It gets overwhelming every once in a while, but again, like it's just so much fun, and I have to pinch myself every day I walk through these doors. So I'm happy to be here.
So you are a huge part of the community, which means you're playing a lot of games. What have you been playing lately?
Ooh, that's funny. Everyone always makes fun of me because I say that they say I only play 3 games. And
no, we won't laugh at you here. Isn't that right? Playing Carina.
And well, I get sucked into a game, and then I just keep playing, especially multiplayer games. So I'm a big Halo 5 fan. We're taping this on the 16th of April, and yesterday was the Halo World Championship Finals, so I got to go check out some awesome Halo players, and they killed it, and it was just cool. That was my first esports event. So I play a lot of Halo 5, not very good at it, but sometimes the games that you're not good at are the ones you keep coming back to. And that's also the case with PUBG, which I am terrible at. And I just love it. I think, obviously the Battle Royale genre is taking off right now, and I love me some PUBG. I play Fortnite every once in a while. And then I have this group of games that I'll occasionally start, like City Skylines. I'm a big City Skylines fan, so that doesn't really jive with the other two. Yeah, I love deciding whether or not to raise taxes or take the water away. You guys don't need clean drinking water. Like the decision making process is just great.
You're one of those guys that played theme park as a kid and like like jacked up the salt in the fries and
exactly
and the caffeine in the coffee and watered down the beer, right?
Listen, it's all about profit in those games. And so that's so I love those games. And so I have a few other games that I kind of go to. Battlefield's another great game that I love, and so mostly though it's Halo and PUBG. I just started Far Cry 5. I only got 30 minutes into it because I'm so busy, but it's a beautiful game, very beautiful.
Oh, I really like Far Cry 5. Quite enjoyed it.
I love them coming to America for the first time. I think that it brings, from what I've played and what I've heard, it brings a really unique twist onto what they can do story wise, and so I'm excited to get more into it. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Definitely get a good companion, by the way. Anyway, how did you get started at Microsoft?
Yeah, so I 2014. So basically during college, I had to actually drive to school every day. So it's hour to an hour from, and so because of that, I never really got the college experience. And so I told myself, as soon as you graduate, you're going to take a year off. You're going to stay at your part-time job, and you're just going to enjoy life. But that didn't really last long because 3 months after I graduated, I saw an application for Xbox support, and I'm a pretty sort of safe guy. I don't like doing risky things, and so but this was the one opportunity again for me to work at a place that I love, for a brand that I love. And so I moved from Maryland, which is on the east coast of the U.S., all the way to Washington, 3,000 miles, left all my family and friends behind. It was one of the most insane and really heartbreaking things that I've done. I think a lot of what you'll find at Microsoft is a lot of people who have transplanted because the opportunity is so great here to work at such a huge corporation. But what you lose, what you gain in sort of the opportunity, you lose in like being able to like personal relationships that you have. And so that was really tough for me. But, I got here and everybody was super nice. And so I started on Tweetfleet, and we are the Guinness World Record holders for most responsive brand on Twitter. I think we are. I don't know. That was, yeah. So we've responded to more. Well, this was 2015 when I started. I hope it's still true, but I'm not sure. But we answered more tweets. The goal of Tweetfleet is to get to every single person who tweets us, which is insane because it's like a group of like 20 awesome people. It's not like this huge center of people, but it's kind of insane. But their passion and dedication is kind of inspiring. And I still go and sit in there during lunch because those guys and gals are great. So that's how I kind of started. And from there, like I mentioned earlier, my sort of wanting to be in everything community related kind of led me to doing MVPs, ambassadors, and community minute and mixer stuff. So that's how I got started.
Now, you mentioned earlier on about the show Tips and Tricks. It's one of my favourites, but for those who maybe haven't seen it, can you let us know exactly what that is?
It's one of your favorites. That's so flattering. It's what I like to describe a garbage truck on fire. That's how I describe it.
That's my favorite.
So, fair enough. Yeah. So a year ago we started working on, obviously Mixer, Beam went into Mixer, and they started working on original programming. And so they had an idea for a show. It's, I can actually recite our lines from the beginning. It's the show that helps you get the most out of your gaming experience. We'll give you tips on the latest features and tricks on tackling the newest games, no matter where you play. And so it's not so much an Xbox focused show. It's Xbox, PS4, and PC. I think it's mostly Xbox just because of the fact that we're in, a Microsoft building, and it's easier. But it's just a show that you can watch every Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Sorry for the plug. But it's a great way to, just to have fun. Honestly, me and my co-host, Ethan Rothamel, he's just awesome. We're around the same age and we kind of enjoy a lot of the same things, and we just have a ton of fun. And it's really awesome. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's just us goofing around and being silly and giving you tips. So, yeah.
So what's it like doing like a live performance like that? Like, do you get nervous or do you sort of get used to it?
Oh, I get nervous about everything. I got nervous for this. I get nervous when I go into meetings. I get nervous when I'm getting a cup of water in the kitchen here. I'm just a nervous wreck. But no, I definitely get nervous. I actually do jumping jacks all the way up until we go live. So sometimes you can go back and watch a VOD and see I'm a bit out of breath because I'm doing jumping jacks all the way until I go live because there's a lot of nervous energy in my body. And so I got to get it out by doing jumping jacks. But I've definitely gotten better at it. But for some reason, I'm a very shy person in real life, and which some people don't see. But what happens is when that camera goes on, I know that I have an objective, which is to entertain or inform or whatever the objective may be. It's like a switch, and so I'm able to just kind of put it aside for the hour or however long the show goes, and just kind of focus on my objective. It's like a heightened version of yourself. You guys kind of know from being on the podcast, but being on camera, you have to be yourself times 10 or times 100 or whatever. And so that can get pretty exhausting, but I go into every show just completely nervous and jittery. But it's again, it's so much fun. And it's one of the things that I want to continue to do because I love watching the progression and getting better. So I love that show, and I hope you guys watch.
Yeah, I would have never guessed. I would never guess by how you appear on camera that you're ever nervous or have any nerves. Seem very, very natural. Natural.
People say that a lot. Maybe I'm just good at masking it, but inside I am screaming. It's crazy.
I do have a super important question for you. Who picks the theme music for the show?
Oh man, that is a great question. It's funny because I certainly don't have that sort of call, but they just I don't know who made them or picked them, but I do remember just there's a certain part in that song that gets me every time. It's just a weird mashup of sounds. It seems like that I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure who. I can find them for you if you hate it that much, and we can take it.
Oh no, hate it! No,
I love it.
Enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drag them in here, son.
Yeah,
they must be held accountable before the
exactly. Internet. Yeah, it's not my favorite song. I'm actually not too fond of it, but a lot of people do like it. So.
That's good.
Who cares what I think?
Yeah. I do want to ask you though about your video. You're also the video on demand manager for the ambassadors program. What the hell is that? Like, what is that?
Yeah. And now I have somebody helping me. My office mate here, Chris Callister. Maybe I shouldn't say full name, but anyway, my buddy Chris here, he actually helps with that. But basically what we do is we have a group of ambassadors who really love creating videos. That's their way of connecting with gamers because the ambassadors program is all about gamers helping other gamers out. And so we have a group of people who are really great at making videos that are informative. But we realized that, that group of people is pretty small in the grander scheme of things. Not everybody likes being on camera. So what we activate ambassadors to do is, hey, maybe you don't like being on camera, but maybe you love YouTube and you love finding videos. And so we kind of help reward gamers for even finding helpful videos. So they'll go on YouTube and then they'll go on our ambassadors website and they'll submit a video. And from there, other ambassadors can vote up or down on the video. And then we look at like this huge spreadsheet and we can kind of see what people are liking from what was submitted. And then we go in and we promote that video through our various channels. And sometimes we work even closer with the people who've made the videos. We say, hey, your videos have been recognized by the community. Would you like to do more videos? Or here's a game for you to play through it. If you want to make videos on it, go for it. And so it's really our way of using, everyone learns a different way. And we have different ways in the ambassadors program for us to kind of get those teachings out. And video is just one way. So I kind of work along with Chris to sort of get those videos out to the grander Xbox audience.
Cool. Is there a way, if someone has a video, to submit it in?
Yeah. All you have to do is join the Xbox Ambassadors program, and you can go to ambassadors.xbox.com/join. And there's some really low requirements, like 1,500 gamer score, just to get in. And I forgot the other two, but it's on the website. It's on the site. And from there, you can just go to the video gallery and you can submit whatever videos you'd like that are Xbox related. And it's really simple. And you get XP, which helps you unlock some really cool rewards. We've given away consoles. We've given away controllers, games, a whole bunch of stuff. And so it's really an awesome way to help your gamers out, help other gamers out. So, and again, that's community. So I love it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier on, but would you like to tell us a little bit more about the Community Minute that you do?
Yeah, the Community Minute, man, let's see, what can I say about it? So I think Community Minute kind of stemmed from some of the stuff that we see in the community, and like the focus is on telling community stories or showing community clips, sometimes tips given by the community. It's just our way of just highlighting the community. And it's inside This Week on Xbox, of course, Major Nelson's show. And we see the amount of people who watch this show every week on YouTube. The viewership is really great on the console as well. So the idea behind the Community Minute is just to take some of the time within the show to put a spotlight back on people who are great within the community. And so the idea that they would even let me be on camera in that is super humbling. I really do appreciate it. And it's one of the things that I take very seriously, because I think we have some awesome stories out there in the community that need to be told. And sometimes I even come on the Reddit and see if somebody's like done something really cool, and I'll reach out to them. I don't always get a response back, but like, I guess the people who visit the subreddit can know, like, if you find a great story on a community member, or you think somebody should be featured on that, you can just tweet me, and I will definitely look into it, because I have to come up with something every week. So eventually it's going to get harder. But right now that's kind of what it is, and I love doing it.
What about space for Scottish podcasters with that? No.
Yeah.
We've already had Finnish ones on there.
Yeah,
we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
We don't
talk any on their
okay. With my glorious hair that everyone talked about.
It was great. It was a really great submission. It's funny because we actually filmed that twice, and but we only used the first one.
They used the worst one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it became a time thing, but I think they were both great in your defense, Rhys. Yeah, they were both great.
Thanks.
So recently you have become, or your most recent job at Microsoft is PM of the MVP program, of which, of course, our very own Cheese is a member. For those who don't know about the MVP program, because I don't think Rhys has ever mentioned it, can you describe it to us? What exactly is an Xbox MVP?
Yeah, let me just pull up the website real quick. I'm just kidding. The MVP program, and a lot of people actually are not 100% sure of the difference between MVPs and ambassadors. And the difference is kind of in the numbers, right? So there are around 90,000, there are thousands of ambassadors. But from the Xbox community, we have about 53 MVPs. And so you kind of can see how exclusive it is. It's almost like 1 in a million based off of active users on Xbox, roughly. And so these are just awesome community leaders who kind of, they show something great, whether or not they're working in a community, or maybe they are, they do a charity, or just something special about them. And to become an MVP, they're nominated by another gamer. So, for example, Delicious Cheese Rhys was nominated by somebody else. So it's really utilizing the community to be our eyes and ears and tell us who they think should be an MVP. But they are just all around amazing people who have a real pulse for the community and for Xbox, and can kind of help shape the future of Xbox through various, obviously they're all NDA'd and they hear about cool stuff before it's released, but they're able to come in and say, hey, we don't think this would land well with gamers, or we think this should be a little bit different. And so it's kind of like just a great program where we honor some really awesome people, and in turn they help Xbox with things going forward. It's not the best. I'm still working on it. I've been PM for less than a year, and I still don't have it quite down, but it's pretty awesome. And you can actually go to mvp.xbox.com for more information. And we're going to be making a brand new website that looks better than the one we have now. So stay tuned for that. It should be awesome. But I'm really honored that I was even asked to run it. I take that, again, very seriously, like I do all the things, because I think this MVP group, they're just so special. And at the MVP Summit was a great example, and I got to see that for the first time in person, and I was completely blown away. The MVP Summit just was chock full of amazing sessions, amazing, just tear-jerking moments, even, that it was just something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
It was really fun.
Yeah,
I was gonna say we've heard a little bit of it from Rhys, but I mean
you couldn't see me while he was saying about how amazing MVPs were. I'm just like here flexing. Of course, you guys can see it.
Yeah, of course.
I was just saying, can you just tell everybody what is the summit, and then what was it like to be involved to organize and put all that together?
Oh, great second question. Because it was hell, the second part, but I'll start with the first part. The first part, the MVP Summit, it's our once a year, our annual opportunity to invite the MVPs to Summit or to the Microsoft campus here and meet face to face with a lot of the teams who are working on various projects within Xbox. And again, so like they are privy to like a lot of stuff that are all of it's under NDA, but a lot of stuff that hasn't been released to the public yet. And we have, we go out and we have evening activities. But again, a bunch of the day is spent in this kind of movie seating type room where we just listen to someone talk. And so it can kind of sound kind of boring, but when you love Xbox, you're just happy to be there and you're happy to hear a bunch of the things that the teams are working on. And so that's kind of what MVP Summit is, just a 3-day opportunity for the MVPs to come out and meet teams and just have a fun time and kind of, get re-energized for the next year. So the second half of that is the planning. That was terrible. I love the summit. The summit was great. And if I could, forget everything that happened leading up to it, that would be even better. But being that this was my first year putting it on, there was a lot of learning as I go. And a lot of things that came up last minute that kind of really put the whole summit in jeopardy. And so I really appreciate all of the patience that a lot of the MVPs had as I worked out a lot of that stuff, because again, I do have so many other things that sometimes I worry that they're not getting as much love as they deserve or as I should be able to give them. But, a lot of them were very understanding, and I really do appreciate that. And I owe them a lot, because I remember waking up some days and just thinking, my goodness, I have to go in and deal with like 7 different fires that are putting this entire event in jeopardy. And like, it's one thing if it's a new thing, but a lot of these MVPs have been here for a long time and they have a certain expectation. And I am extremely hard on myself. A lot of my coworkers would tell you. And so it was just one of those things that was quite overwhelming. But, the good part is, after it's all done, you can kind of look back and see what you accomplished. And that's super rewarding for me. And so I guess I wouldn't take it away in the end, all of the planning, but it was no fun. I got to say.
You did an amazing job, man. I mean,
appreciate that. Yeah.
No, seriously, the other MVPs, we all talked about like how awesome it was. They all agreed that it was like the best summit ever, and that's why we went and signed that T-shirt for you to make sure that you knew that we appreciated it.
The T-shirt, yeah, I have the T-shirt with all the MVP signatures here. I got to figure out where to put it, because I also have a T-shirt that Phil signed, which was also a big surprise for me as well. But yeah, I really appreciate these T-shirts, so I'm gonna cherish them for sure.
So whereabouts do you want the MVP program to go in the future? Like, what would you say is your ideal situation? Do you want the program to expand, or do you want to just keep it at the same pace that it's going at the moment?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think there's kind of 2 answers to that. I think as far as expanding in number, I don't know. That's decided by people above me. It's all budget stuff. But I would love to I think the idea is to get more MVPs. My goal, my hope is to get more MVPs, and really base that around inclusion of, different races, different, abilities, different interests. Like I want it to be representative of the entire, gaming audience. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we have some ways to go, but inclusion is super important here at Microsoft. It is, and accessibility and all those kinds of considerations are super important. And I totally understand why they are. And so for me going forward, it's making sure that, when a gamer, no matter who they are, looks at the MVP program, they feel like they have representation. They feel like somebody is going to be their voice and be able to say, hey, maybe I can't play with both of my hands, but I know somebody's going to be at the MVP Summit or going to be an MVP that's going to fight and make sure that, my sort of experience is taken into consideration. The second part of that is sort of around awareness. I want to make sure that the question of what the difference between an ambassador and MVP is not an experience or a question that's unique to people outside of the program or outside of the company. Many people inside the company are not fully aware of the difference. And so for the next 6 months, my real focus is on making sure that within Microsoft, there's a true understanding of the value of MVPs. And from there, once those teams understand the value of MVPs, they can then nominate MVPs themselves who are going to help their team. So, if I'm on the Game Pass team and I know an MVP who would be a gamer who would be perfect to be an MVP, and I know that gamer is also going to be able to give me valuable information and insights, I can nominate them. And I think we'll just get to a place where we have better, more diverse MVPs. But right now, I'm really happy with who we have. And I didn't touch on this before, but there's a yearly renewal process, which the MVPs, you have to be renewed every year. And so it's a constant. Yeah. So you better be on your toes, Rhys. No, but it's a yearly thing. And so nobody's in there for too long. So it's definitely one of those things that you have to constantly be on. But again, it's not like we don't ever want it to feel like work. We want it to be, because it's not. We want to make sure that everyone who's there is happy to be there, and so we reassess that every year. So, yeah.
So, is there any job at Microsoft you don't actually do?
Is there anything at Microsoft that I don't do? I am not a technically savvy person, so anything that has to do with computers, I barely got the Skype thing working because we use Skype for business. We have Outlook set up, and so it's so much easier. But I anything tech savvy, I will not be a part of unless that team wants it to burn in a fire. That's the only way that they'd ever include me on anything like that. But I don't know. There's so many other things that I would love to do that I don't currently do. It's a matter of them letting me, because they know that I just want to be a part of everything forever. It's so cool.
So Phil didn't actually sign that shirt as a gift, but like a warning, right. Step off, son.
Yeah, exactly. You think so? Oh man, if I were head of Xbox for a day, that would be great. I don't know what I'd actually do, but I'm very stressful. Yeah, if I thought MVP Summit was bad, no, but I I see Phil every once in a while, at least walking through the hallways here, and it's truly inspiring because I don't know. Maybe some people have an impression that you have Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, and that he's in this unreachable place in the building, but no, he's out. He's in the building, walking around, talking to people, super genuine person, and I use that as inspiration. Him and Larry and Aaron Greenberg and everybody that you see on Twitter, engaging with the community, they're just as gracious and willing to give you their time in person. And for a corporation this big, that doesn't always happen. And so I'm constantly inspired and motivated by those people. And I'm not just saying that because I think they might be listening. I truly believe it. I think honestly, I don't know what I expected, but I'm afraid that people are I was afraid that people would be completely unapproachable, but that has not been the case at all. And so I look to those people for inspiration, but I probably would not want his job, because I can see the Reddit posts now. Malik Prince ruins everything about Xbox. No. Yeah.
15,000 upvotes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now, one thing just on the topic of Phil, actually, I've actually got a bit of a favour to ask you. Now,
oh, no.
Oh, uh-oh.
Now, I've not actually mentioned this, I don't think, in the podcast, but I had a dream once, and I'm going to set the scene. It is E3, okay? Mm-hmm. Everyone is sat in their seats. They've got the expectation of Phil about to come out to give us a huge announcement. As he walks onto the stage, the cheers all start, and everyone stops for a second because he's wearing a t-shirt with my face on it.
Oh, okay. So you want me to?
Yeah, you're going to have to help me with this because I'm getting nowhere.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I actually forgot. I forgot Ross to ask him when I met him at Summit. Actually, sorry, I dropped the ball.
You're dead to me.
So you want you're dead to me, Rhys. Dead to me. So you want your face on Phil's shirt. Last year that might be a tough ask, because last year he only wore one shirt the entire press briefing.
I know.
I'm willing. Sad. I'm willing to go the whole conference with just my face on his shirt. It doesn't have to be for one particular session or one particular part. You know, it can be the whole thing if he wants. I really don't mind.
Yeah. Perfect. I'll pitch it to him that way.
Yeah.
Instead of wearing multiple shirts, just wear one at Ross's face the entire time.
Exactly.
There you go.
Not much task. Not
much at all. But no, on the point of E3, I'm super excited about it. Getting to meet so many people within the industry. Last year was my first time going, and it was just so profound to be there. When I got my badge that, you know, and it said my name and it said Microsoft Corporation, being somebody who watched E3 for years and years and years, to be able to represent, you know, my company or Xbox in any way was just overwhelming. It was insane. It was one of the best times of my life. And so, yeah, it was just fantastic. So I'm super excited. And so you get me that shirt and I will personally deliver it to his office.
I'm not sending
Malik,
him
can you?
I'm not saying he's got to make it himself. I'm not sending you.
He's got to make it. Wow, the qualifications on that. Wow.
I was just going to ask, Malik, can you see our show notes? Because you just like legit answered the next question.
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah. I have a tendency to overtalk and answer next questions. Yeah.
What are you hoping to see at E3? I'm still in your question, Clay. You can ask the next one.
Ooh, what am I hoping to see at E3? And the weird part about it is because I work here, people will take anything that I say as gospel. So I can't say specifics because I don't actually know anything, but I'm afraid that people are going to take it that way. So what I will say is that I'm really excited to see more games. I think all gamers are excited to see what's new. And so hopefully there are some really awesome games. And I know there will be. We actually got a chance to speak with Matt Booty, who's like the head of Microsoft Studios. And he said some pretty promising things about, you know, just the direction in general going forward. And so I'm super excited to see what we have planned. But for me, honestly, it's just the experience. You know, the passion inside of it's going to be the Microsoft Theater this year, obviously, but in past years, it's been at the Galen Center in Los Angeles. And just the passion from the fans is just, oh man, it's like electric. There's a certain electricity in the air during E3. And I'm excited for that to be around again. So just games and other employees and fans of Xbox and just chat with them. I love that. So that's what I'm most excited for.
Community through and through on your part. So, you know, for anybody that aspires to be like you or aspires to one day work at Microsoft, what's one piece of advice that you would give somebody out there?
Ooh, that's a toughie. Probably not to let certain parts of your life like hold you back from aspiring to do it or from going for it. I know being on the East Coast of the US, it was tough. Almost the entire video game industry is on the West Coast. And for me, it was never even a thought that I'd be out here. Just because, you know, it's kind of a big move to leave everything you know behind and just take a leap of faith. But, you know, sometimes you have to, oh man, it's going to sound so cliche. Sometimes you have to believe in yourself, and just like trust your gut.
It does when you say it like that.
I know. Well, yeah, I had to emphasize how bad it sounded and how corny it sounded, but like, it's kind of true. Like sometimes you need to know that your passion is going to drive you. I always say like skills and sort of technical knowledge is a commodity. Anybody can learn those things, right? But I think when you have passion or you really want to do something, whether it be video games or anything in general, like that will always see you through because it'll push you to work harder, right? It'll push you to do things. It'll push you to spend more hours working on something that somebody may, you know, throw up their hands and say, I'm done with this. It'll push you to work long nights, even when you're not necessarily allowed to. Hopefully my bosses aren't listening to it, but it'll push you to work harder, and people recognize that, and they'll take note of that. And so that all I got to say, work hard, believe in yourself. All the things that you read on inspirational posters, do them because they're there for a reason. And hopefully, and just network. Obviously, the video game industry, we live in a time where Twitter is super like social media in general is super. It's our culture essentially. And so your ability to connect with people who work in the gaming industry, it has never been as great as it is now. And so use Twitter, use the tools, social media as tools to start those conversations with people in the industry and ask how you can further your sort of mind share in whatever space you want to get into. So those are my words of wisdom.
That was glorious, man.
Asterisk on wisdom because, you know, wisdom is subjective. but I appreciate that.
Now, the question that you fear. I know you listen to the podcast, so you may have an idea exactly what is coming right now. But what the Redditors and listeners of this podcast want to know is, which classic video game character could you knock out with one punch?
Oh man, what a question. So I did know that was coming, and I was thinking about it all last night, and it was causing me anxiety. But I asked my roommate, I don't know, you guys, Mr. Beep from the Xbox forums, Sean, I was like, what do I answer that tomorrow? How do I answer that tomorrow? And, does it have to be a classic video game character? Can it be anybody?
Classic is subjective.
Subjective.
Okay, perfect. So I was going to say all the PUBG characters that kill me in the final circle. That's who I would like to punch and knock. I think I could knock them all out. I don't know if that's actually true, but I just get so angry when I'm in the final circle and like top 10, and I just die. And then I realize I have to go all the way back to the very beginning and jump off that stupid plane. So I think
I'll rephrase the question, actually. Which video game character would you like to hit in the face with a frying pan?
There you go. I'd like to knock in the face with a frying pan all of the PUBG characters who are in that final circle. I'm just so bad at the game, and I wish that I've never wanted so badly to be good at a game as I have with PUBG. It's just so sad. But maybe I'll get better. But that's the only thing I could come up with. Maybe I don't know, Kazooie, if we were to go classic, because Kazooie is just too loud, and too obnoxious. Like, I played through the entire Banjo-Kazooie, the original one, and I just thought Kazooie was very rude to all the people. She's a bitch. She's not super nice, and I remember reading some of her lines, and I'm just like, why are you so mean? So maybe Kazooie if you had to go really classic.
And of course, you have to listen like every 30 seconds to
yeah, that's another reason. That's 100% another reason.
Well, Malik, that is all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been really interesting, really different kind of guest. Last week it was all about trains, so we're on a roll for new kinds of experiences. I hope you had fun. And,
I did have fun.
That's great to hear, and we wish you all the best and look forward to all the cool stuff that you guys are doing on tips and tricks with the ambassadors, with the MVPs, with everything. And have fun with that.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I'm a big subreddit, the Xbox One subreddit visitor, and I can say that the work that you all do on the subreddit, and the community does on the subreddit, they're super beneficial, not only to, just for casual viewing, but also to Team Xbox. There are so many, and you all know this and have said this before, but there's so many teams that rely on the stuff that you do. So I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you. And you all are just fantastic.
So anyway, thank you, Malik, for that amazing interview. Let's hope you make better choices in who are your MVPs for next year. And that's not aimed at anyone.
Yeah.
No one.
Definitely.
No
agreed.
one at all. But this month we've been doing a thing called the Achievement Challenge. Now, so far I'm ahead on 16,000 gamer score earned for the month. Guys, what?
I'm pretty sure you invented a 1 in front of that.
Okay.
Number?
So I haven't got anywhere near the score that I have. I'm going to read out the scores so far. We said a few weeks ago, and it started last week, and we talked about it, about this gamer score challenge, and Rhys and Clay seem to have surged ahead. But as of right now, the gamer score challenge for the month of April is Rhys on 5,645, Clay on 4,010, Ross on 695, and I don't even know how I get that, and Carina with 265. She gained...
I want to know where my extra ones are from, because I don't actually know what to play to get the achievements.
You get 55 more points than what you had this time last week. So you've done something, you've played something to get that. But it's letting people try more games. I know I'm going to have some more free time than what I have so far, and I've got 16 days or 15 days left from when we record this. So I was going to let us play. Guys, Rhys, is anyone going to catch you?
If you start boosting with like little indie games, yes.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to...
That doesn't count. You have to beat me legit. I haven't boosted with any of these games.
Yeah, but you've faked achievements. That's what you told me before we started recording. So anyway...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Is this another Photoshop thing again?
No, that's only you that cheats, Carina. That's only you that cheats.
Oh, well, that's my job.
Clay, how are you feeling with that 4,000 gamer score in for the month? Are you happy with that, or...?
Actually, you know what? To be honest, I was trying to dig up the email that I got, I think at the end of the year. I just couldn't find it from Microsoft. I'm pretty sure in this month alone, I've gotten more achievements than I did all of last year.
Are you enjoying playing games that you wouldn't usually have tried?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I really am. I'm if anything, this is pushing me to play a ton of games that are on Games Pass, or games that were games with gold that I just never got to because I was playing nothing but Rainbow Six Siege. And it's getting me out there. I actually have purchased, and I'm excited, by next week, I should have played, hopefully finished A Way Out.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to playing that, and, really excited about checking it out. Played just a very little bit of it the other day, and then need my buddy to stop playing PUBG so that he can join me on this. Since there is no solo option. No. You have to play with someone else, and it's pretty cool.
Can I ask you, how have you done the invite? Have you done it have you both got the game, or have you done it with one of you got the game?
I have the game.
Because I'm having an issue with that, and I've not been able to play it.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I bought the game, and then downloaded the game, then invited him. He got the link. Had to go to the game store. It's a little convoluted. Had to go to the game store. Somewhere in the game store on that game, there is a trial version that you can download. And I think maybe it's like a little ... thing you have to click on, and then you see trial. Somewhere in there, he found a trial option. Once he downloaded that, I resent him an invite, and we were able to join up and play through it.
Well,
but it was a little bit of a pain in the rear end to try and figure out how the heck to do that, since it was free for him, but he kept going to the game store and it was like, hey, I don't want to pay $30 to play this game with you. I was like, no, it's supposed to be free. You need to find the free version of it. So somewhere in there is a trial version of some sort.
Well, look, back to the Gamer Score Challenge. I'm going to make my commitment right here. I'm going to at least double my Gamer Score by next week for the month.
That won't even get you up to Clay.
Yeah, I know.
I got 2,000.
Please.
I got like 2,500 gamer score over the weekend.
Well,
actually, I think I got 3,000.
Wow, insane. That's what I need, just a full weekend of that. But I'm never going to get that, if I'm honest with you.
You know what's funny?
You're almost 2K ahead of me. Jesus.
And I'm not number one on when I go to my gamer score thing. There's someone above me in my friends list, and that's Falcon Box from the Xbox One mod team. He is an achievement devouring machine. Like, seriously, check out his profile. He gets all the achievements all the time, forever. Like, it's insane how good he is at that.
I did get a really funny message from on Xbox from someone that was like, hey, can you slow down a bit on getting the achievements? I'm like, I didn't realize I was, there was other people in competition with me on against my accounts.
Now you think you're doing better than any one of us this month? We want to know your gamer tag, so please let us know on Twitter at PartyChatPod your gamer score so far. I mentioned it before, there may even be a small prize if you manage to get ahead of Rhys and finish on top. So that's Party Chat Pod on Twitter. But anyways, there wasn't very much news to talk about this week, so we decided to exclude that part. Now, next week is our episode 100, and we have some amazing things lined up. That is something you're not going to want to miss. But for another week, Xbox, turn off.
You're listening to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit.
Let's do this.